All right, let's get right into it. What if I told you that right now, a nuclear-powered American spy device is buried deep in the Himalayan ice, and that it's slowly but surely moving towards one of the most sacred rivers on the entire planet? No, this isn't some spy thriller. This is a real-life Cold War secret that's threatening to become a modern-day catastrophe. I know, it sounds like a wild question, doesn't it? But we have to ask it. Because this is not a conspiracy theory, it's not some internet rabbit hole. This is a documented, top-secret intelligence mission that went horribly, horribly wrong. It's a ghost of the Cold War, just waiting silently in the ice.
And here's why this is so incredibly important. The stakes could not be higher. That lost device is sitting right at the source of the Ganges River, the lifeline for over 400 million people. The potential for radioactive contamination, it's just staggering to even think about.
And just when you think it can't get any worse, here's the kicker: climate change. Decades after it was lost, this nuclear relic is being pushed closer and closer to the surface by melting glaciers. So a 60-year-old secret is suddenly a very, very urgent environmental threat. So, how on earth did we get here? To understand that, we've got to rewind the clock. We're going back to the absolute height of the Cold War, a time when the fear of nuclear annihilation pushed the CIA to take an unbelievable, almost reckless risk. Picture it. It's 1964. China tests its first atomic bomb, and the world just holds its breath. Suddenly, the US and India realized they had this massive intelligence blind spot. Their satellites just couldn't see everything. So, the CIA looked to the highest peaks on Earth for a solution. They called it Operation Snowdrop. The plan? It was audacious to say the least. Plant a spy station on one of the most hostile mountains in the world. The heart of this whole thing, the secret sauce, was a piece of tech called an RTG. Now, put simply, it's a nuclear battery. It takes the intense heat that comes from decaying radioactive material, in this case, plutonium, and uses it to create a constant supply of electricity. And here's the genius and, frankly, the terror of how it worked. The device had 17 small, reinforced capsules of plutonium-238. As that plutonium naturally broke down, it got incredibly hot. The RTG turned that heat straight into electricity, which then powered these super sophisticated antennas. The whole setup was designed to just sit there and listen in on Chinese missile tests from thousands of kilometers away, for years on end with zero maintenance. So let's get a clearer picture. We're talking about an object roughly the size of a beach ball. It weighs about 25 kilos, and it's carrying a nuclear core built to run for at least 5 years, in some of the most freezing temperatures on the planet. I mean, it was an absolute marvel of engineering, and as it turns out, a ticking time bomb.
But here's the thing about engineering genius. It's absolutely no match for the raw, unforgiving power of nature. This brilliant and terrifying mission was about to unravel into a complete and utter catastrophe.
The CIA didn't send just anybody. They put together this incredible team, 12 of the absolute best American and Indian climbers. These guys were sworn to total secrecy. They were literally ordered to never ever speak of the mission, even if they were captured and tortured. That's how high the stakes were.
And their destination was Nanda Devi, one of the most treacherous mountains in the world. This place is a monster. We're talking about altitudes over 7,800 meters, winds whipping past at over 100 kilometers an hour, and the constant threat of blizzards, collapsing ice, and deadly avalanches. Honestly, just getting there was a miracle.
Then, on October 19th, 1965, disaster struck. An unbelievable storm just slammed into the team near the summit, dumping 2 meters of snow. Their escape routes were literally vanishing. Washington ordered them to get out immediately. Their lives were on the line, and they had to make a fateful choice: abandon the nuclear device and run for it. One of the climbers, Jim McCarthy, he later said he felt a deep, instinctive dread in that moment. He said he just knew in his gut that they were making a catastrophic mistake. Decades later, you could tell that decision still haunted him. The device was left behind, lost the mountain, and it would never be seen again.
So what happened next? For over half a century, absolute silence, a monumental failure, hidden from the public, buried not just in ice, but under layers and layers of official denial and secrecy.
Now, they did try to get it back. Between 66 and 72, they launched several recovery missions. Every single one failed. The mountain was just too unstable. The secret held all the way until 1974, when India's prime minister confronted the US about it.
Washington's response? They denied everything, and the story went cold until a bombshell report from the New York Times in September 2024 just blew the whole thing wide open.
And that brings us right back to today, because the real danger isn't political embarrassment anymore. No, it's the plutonium-238 itself and what that material could do to millions and millions of people.
Let's be perfectly clear about the risk here. If those capsules holding the plutonium were to break, this stuff is lethal. If you inhale it, it gets stuck in your lungs and causes cancer. If you ingest it through contaminated water, it builds up in your bones and your liver, leading to cancer, leukemia, and even genetic damage. It's a poison that can last for generations.
So you see how the threat has completely flipped on its head, right? Back then, the biggest fear was just getting caught. It was a political secret. But now, the biggest fear is a full-blown environmental nightmare, the poisoning of a major water source, with climate change acting as the trigger.
So what's being done about it? Well, right now, it's a total diplomatic standoff. The United States is basically saying no comment on so-called historical intelligence operations. India is quite rightly pushing for a joint investigation to figure out the damage. And China? They're demanding accountability and reparations. Nobody can agree on what to do next.
And all the while they're pointing fingers, the clock is ticking. Those Himalayan glaciers are melting faster than ever. Every single year, that buried nightmare gets closer to being exposed, closer to leaking its poison into the water. This isn't some problem for the future. It's happening right now.
So that leaves us with one final terrifying question. After all these decades of silence, is the United States finally going to step up and acknowledge the nightmare it left behind on that mountain? Or are we all just about to witness a forgotten secret from the Cold War erupt into a catastrophe for the 21st century?